potential of art to create dialogue. Enjoy the keynote talk.
My name is Noam, and I study the limits of artificial intelligence, or the limits of the brain of the robot. Today, I wish to address the question, will a robot ever receive Nobel Prize for Literature? The word robot appeared for the first time in 1921 in a drama written by the Czech author Karel Čapek. The drama was named The Rossum Universal Robots. It is a science fiction story about a factory that produced robots. The robots were first happy to serve humankind, but later rebelled, which led to the extinction of the human race. What a lesson. On the right side, you can see the poster which advertised the play at the time. Okay, what are the criteria for receiving a Nobel Prize for Literature? The late Professor Sarah Danius, who was a permanent secretary of the Swedish Academy and the first woman to head the Literature Committee, when asked what are the criteria for receiving a Nobel Prize for Literature, she responded on April 6, 2017, the Nobel Prize in Literature is awarded to someone who has done outstanding work in an idealistic direction that adds the greatest benefit to humankind. And I emphasize outstanding, idealistic, and benefit to humankind. Well, robot can be programmed to be idealistic, can add great benefit to humankind. But can a robot be programmed to perform an outstanding work? This is the core question of my talk today. So let us continue. If we look at the long list of 112 Nobel Literature Laureates since 1901, we do recognize that all of them were exceptionally creative. Exceptional quality writing requires high level of creativity. And I emphasize the word of creativity because it will repeat many times during my talk. I will explore the question, can a robot receive a Nobel Prize for Literature, not as a linguist, which I am not, but through the question, can a robot be as creative as human, or more creative? Can an artificial brain be more creative than the human brain? Well, there is a global competition on the development of the artificial brain among the digital giants like Apple, IBM, Microsoft, and Google. And before continuing, let me introduce Ray Kurzweil, a famous inventor and futurist. He invented, among other inventions, the speech recognition, automatic speech synthesis, and many keyboard instruments. He is considered the top world expert in artificial intelligence. Now, he is at Google. Well, Kurzweil is famous by writing, by 2029, computers will be able to do all things that humans do, only better. By 2045, according to Kurzweil, computers will be billion times more powerful than all of human brains on Earth. He calls this point of 2045 the point of singularity. Well, what is singularity? Sometimes referred to also as the age of transhuman. You see over here a sketch, a drawing. On the y-axis, you see the intellectual level or intellectual power. On the x-axis is the time horizon. And you can see from the dawn of history, human intellect, which is described here in the green line, has progressed slowly. And according to Kurzweil, by the year 2045, there will be a point where the machine intelligence will be superior to human intellect. From that point onward, we are entering, according to Kurzweil, a transhuman era. Well, what can you expect of Nobel Prizes beyond 2045? Well, robots then will receive Nobel Prizes in all fields because the artificial brain will be far superior in all aspects than our human brain. And Kurzweil is not alone in his dire prediction. Daniel Kahneman, 2002 Nobel laureate in economics, said on November 2017, and I quote, "We have in our head a wonderful computer. It is made of meat. It is extremely noisy." And then he continues saying, "Will there be anything that is reserved for human beings? Frankly," said Kahneman, "I do not see any reason to set limits on what they, the robots, can do." Wow. Well, let us look at artificial brain. Artificial brain is based on artificial neurons, similar in structure only to our biological neurons. You see here a drawing of a biological neuron, which is composed of a cell body, dendrites, axon, synapse. At the bottom drawing, you see a drawing of the artificial neuron, which is very similar in structure to the biological neuron. They also have the artificial neuron is also dendrites, cell body, which processes information, and an axon to pass the information forward to the next artificial neuron. The artificial neuron is made of a combination of simple electronic circuits called logic gates. The logic gates are the basic building blocks of computers. They are very simple electronic circuits having one or more inputs and one output. You see a simple drawing of a logic gate here in the frame. Well, this is how the artificial neuron really looks like. It's a combination of logic gates. This is a map, the electronic map of artificial neuron, which, as you can see here, is composed of many forms of logic gates. It's called AND, OR, NAND, NOR. I will not go into this, but it's important to understand that we are talking about very simple electronic circuits, which the combination of these circuits is really the heart of the modern computers. The artificial neuron, it is a very important frame in my talk. The artificial neuron processes information in a rational manner. Our natural neuron processes information in mysterious ways, as Kahneman describes, as extreme noise. The artificial neuron processes information in a rational manner, which means that one artificial neuron will pass information to another artificial neuron only if this information reduces uncertainty. You know that in the cell body of the biological neuron or the artificial neuron, there is know-how accumulated. The artificial neuron will pass new information coming from the dendrites to another artificial neuron only if this information will reduce uncertainty, which means it processes the information in a very rational way. This is a very important point in my talk. We know there's a famous saying by Albert Einstein, "I never made one of my discoveries through the process of rational thinking." Well, how close are we to singularity or the transhuman age? There are three stages to the development of AI or of artificial intelligence or the artificial brain. And I apologize if I get a little bit too technical. The first stage, the current stage, is called narrow AI or weak AI. The second stage in the progress of artificial intelligence is general AI, or which is called also the human stage. The third stage is the super AI, which the age of singularity, which we already discussed. What is the narrow AI or the weak AI? The algorithm works within a limited context and cannot take tasks beyond its field. Examples. The algorithms are effective for analyzing big data and finding statistical connections among the data elements and provide us with new insights. Let me give you some examples. It is good for finding new medicine. The algorithm analyzes thousands of medical research papers and finds statistical connections among many variables, which then allow the human researcher to identify new insights and convert these insights to innovative new treatments. It is good for developing autonomous car. You know that some Israeli companies have received many billions of dollars for the development of AI to run automatic cars. But it cannot apply know-how from one domain to another, which is we humans do easily. So if we study a lot from know-how, from analyzing medical information, if we study a lot of know-how and wisdom from analyzing automatic cars, we cannot apply the wisdom from one domain to another. This is a very, very serious limitation of current AI. The second stage, the general AI, or the human stage, then algorithms can understand and reason as a human would. They can process information across fields, think abstractly, and innovate. This is very much like our own natural brain, operates. The third stage is the super AI, which is the age of singularity, which we already discussed. Now, after 70 years of AI research, we are still in the narrow AI stage, far from the general or super AI stages. Can computers think? Can computers feel pain? Can computers develop emotions? Well, let us look at these questions. John Searle, one of the world's great philosophers of mind and language and artificial intelligence, said, computers cannot think. They can merely manipulate formal symbols according to rules in the program, not enough to guarantee cognition. He continues, the only power that symbols have is the power to cause the next step when the machine is running. In other words, the logic gates, the simple electronic circuits, cannot think, they cannot develop emotions or innovate, according to Searle. Well, can artificial brain be more creative than the human brain? Another important question. Let us look at the study of creativity. Darren Winograd, a researcher in human language processing, knowledge, and AI, claims AI understanding of natural language cannot extend beyond a bureaucratic level, similar to a person without empathy that acts according to some strict mechanical rules. What characterizes bureaucracy are strict rules. Bureaucracy cannot act beyond its predefined rules. Another researcher that is very relevant to our talk is Nancy Andreessen, which is a leading neuroscientist, researcher of the science of genius or the secrets of creativity. She studied Kurt Vonnegut, Richard Yates, John Sevier, and 27 other well-known writers, including filmmaker George Lucas, novelist Jane Smiley, and 6 Nobel laureates from all fields of chemistry, physics, and physiology or medicine. Here you can see a picture of Kurt Vonnegut, which was a favorite research subject of Andresen. He is here with film producer Mark Robson in a picture taken in 1971. Nancy Andresen's conclusion, she wrote a very, very interesting article on the creativity of the brain. High levels of creativity are linked to irrational thinking, free thought association, unconscious human brain processes, and in some cases, mental illness, which means her description, her conclusion really rules out the ability of the artificial brain to act like a human brain in questions of irrational thinking, innovation, free association. Well, how creative can AI or artificial intelligence be? Professor Margaret Bowden, a leading theoretician on artificial intelligence and creativity, suggested 3 levels of artificial intelligence creativity. The first level is producing novel combinations of familiar ideas. I'll give you an example. The algorithm searches for patterns or insights in a huge body of data we call big data, and looks for innovative ways to combine these patterns and create something new. Let us look at some examples. There's a company, Botnik Studios, created an algorithm called the predictive writer that finds combinations of words, themes, likely to be used by a particular author whose text has been analyzed. The robot wrote a new Harry Potter chapter using the predictive keyboard trained on all 7 J.K. Rowling books. In other words, the bot studied 7 books of K.J. Rowling in order to write a new chapter which will be in the spirit of J.K. Rowling, but not identical to her stories. They come up with a book titled Harry Potter and the Portrait of What Looked Like a Large Pile of Ash, released on Botnik website in 2018. Quote a review by Kellen Beck of Mashable magazine. Within roughly 3 full pages of the new book, Ron begins eating Hermione's family. 2 Death Eaters kiss. Harry blinds himself. Hermione sticks a Death Eater face in the mud, and Harry falls down a staircase for several months. Well, no Nobel Prize for this creation. Botnik Studios produced similar episodes for other popular series, including the shows Scrubs, X-Files, and Steinfeld. The website has a whole bunch of different predictive keyboards. Another area of this first stage of creativity is robot journalism. Today, there are 12 companies in the world that produce algorithms that can analyze data and write the narrative itself instead of the human journalist. One of the companies, called Narrative Science, an interesting name, and they claim our technology application generates news stories, industry reports, headlines, and more at a scale without human authoring or editing. I wrote a book on the subject of robot journalism. Can human journalism survive? My conclusion was that if the journalists will be aware of the limitations of artificial intelligence, human journalists can survive and can win the war with the robot if they use AI tools in their work. The second stage of Margaret Bowden, creativity in AI, the second level of AI in creativity is achieved by identifying conceptual spaces or styles within a given body of data and exploring innovative ways to create something new and valuable by combining these conceptual spaces. I will now give you some examples of the second level of creativity and AI. Harold Cohen, an expert in human psychology and art, developed the Aron machine. The Aron machine defines painting styles like that of Van Gogh, Cézanne, and other famous painters, and his machine produces originals in these predefined styles. His work can be found now in major museums and are quite valuable. A great example is a painting that auctioned by Christie's on December 12, 18. They sold a painting produced by artificial intelligence machine like that of the Aron, and they sold this work for $432,500 US. Unbelievable. Another example is the EMI algorithm. EMI stands for Experiments in Musical Intelligence, that identifies music structures of famous composers and creates new music based on these patterns. The third level, or the highest level of AI creativity, according to Bowden, is the highest level of creativity by artificial intelligence is achieved by making transformations that enable the generation of previously impossible ideas. Let us give you some examples. The Aron algorithm machine, the algorithm itself, is an example of a transformative creation. No computer could have invented the algorithm that has produced these paintings. Another example is the algorithm, EMI algorithm, developed by David Cope. It is a transformative creation. No computer could have produced the innovative, transformative algorithm that can analyze music and create new music. The creation of the new music itself is not transformative, but the algorithm, the thoughts that went into writing this algorithm, this is innovative and transformative level. Bottom conclusion, we cannot expect real breakthrough from artificial intelligence in creativity. Almost all of today's creative algorithms are concerned only with exploring predefined conceptual spaces. No fundamental novelties or truly shocking surprises are possible. Very interesting. Karl Čapek, which invented the word robot, which we discussed at the opening of my talk, compared literature to journalism, and he wrote a very interesting insight. Literature is telling always the same things in always new ways. Journalism is telling always new things in always the same ways. Can robots create things in new ways? Big question. Well, will a robot ever receive the Nobel Prize for Literature? Depends who you ask. If you ask Margaret Bowden, Terry Winograd, John Searle, Nancy Anderson, the answer is no. If you ask Ray Kurzweil, Daniel Kahneman, the answer is yes. If you ask me, I belong to the no camp, not at least in the current computer hardware. Let me summarize why. Artificial neurons processes information in a rational manner, not conducive to creativity, as we have shown. Computers are constructed of logic gates. They cannot think, cannot develop subconscious, cannot develop emotions, and cannot do outstanding work. They can merely manipulate formal symbols, as Professor Searle has suggested. We are now in the narrow AI stage, far from the general AI, which is also called the human stage. The narrow AI is efficient in identifying statistical connections among variables in big data and efficient in generating new insight. It's very important. But it takes the human brain to convert these insights to creative innovations in all of human domains of activity. This is why I vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Noam, for your enlightening keynote about robots, humans, and creativity. I certainly feel better that you think the humans are going to win. On that note, Monica is now going to share a few of our listeners' questions, and we'll give Noam a chance to answer your questions in the next few minutes.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Noam. So I will address some of the questions that were asked in the chat. One question by Dr. Man Al-Wadat is, so if robots are programmed and fed with all the knowledge that humans have so far, then why not give them the Nobel Prize? And if we give them the Nobel Prize, then who would be in the Nobel Prize committee? Maybe humans or maybe robots? What do you think?
Well, it reminds me, first of all, if we feed all the knowledge to robots, still they cannot do anything innovative or creative at the highest level, as Professor Bowden said. But there was a competition, a beauty competition among about 50 countries. The countries sent 6,000 pictures of beautiful women, and they appointed 5 robot judges to select the most beautiful human on the globe. One robot looked at the symmetry of the face. Another robot looked at wrinkles on the face. A third one, they all looked at different features of what we call beauty. And the result was that the algorithm was so biased so that all women with dark skin were not chosen. All the beauty queens that were chosen by these robots came from north of Europe. So we shouldn't forget that algorithms are produced by human beings, and all the biases that we have in our heads and education go into the algorithm. So I would not trust algorithms to be the judges of Nobel Prizes. But again, even if we feed all human knowledge to the computers or the algorithms, they can find statistical connections among a lot of elements and can help us come with new insights. But they cannot be creative and innovative as we human can be because of our ability to do associative thinking and take know-how that we gain from one area to another. This is how the big inventions have been done. There's no wheel or computer or cellular phone that was invented by a computer, but they do help us. I'm not saying computers, algorithms are not creative, but they are creative in a low level. And to receive a Nobel Prize, at least until now, you really need to be very, very creative and innovative. So because of this, I don't think that we should trust computers, judges to award Nobel Prizes.
Thank you, Noam. What a complete answer you gave us. So if we can't, robots can't judge creativity, could they be able to judge ethics? How would robots deal with ethics?
Big question. There's a talk now about appointing judges, robot judges, because accordingly, judges are supposed to be blind and without any favors to power or to influence or to money. My wife is a judge, and she's not worried because I explained to her that I don't see in the near future robot judges, because the robot judges again will use algorithms that will be written by us human beings. We are so not. I'm not saying the judges are perfect, but at least there are certain levels of you can take to Supreme Court. There are a lot of inside information or processes that you can do a decision and look at it again and again. So I wouldn't expect robot judges.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Monica.
Sorry. Yes, sorry. So thank you so much, Noam. I think we can all agree with your answer, and I think it makes us feel better, at least for now, that we will not
May
surpass.
I ask, I couldn't write in the chat.
Yes. Go on.
May I wanted to, okay, I wanted to say that as you said, that human beings are creating the robots' capabilities. So the latter will always depend on humans. But they can be crazy because we see what humans created in the language era. And nowadays there is such a deterioration in language, knowledge, and youth. And those people have been creating all those devices of online translation. And if you use it, you can kill people. I was an interpreter at hospital in Boston. And actually, when they used the Google translation, they almost caused a terrible damage to a baby. So that's just one example. But if people want to give the robot the Nobel Prize, they will, even if they deserve it or not.
Well, I'm not sure I understood the question, but I think Google Translate. Wait. Okay. I doubt if ever Google translation of language will ever receive a Nobel Prize, because the human language is so, I was asked by my students if robots, there's a lot of face recognition algorithms used by certain police around the world. And again, if you are a dark color skin, you have trouble with this face recognition. But the problem is that to identify emotions, there are hundreds of emotions. There are emotions which are complex. You can be happy and sad at the same time. And for a computer to understand, fully understand the richness of language, I doubt very much if we'll ever get there, unless we get to the point of singularity. Computers can help translators do translation. They can give them some basic help, but the subtleties of the language, of course, they take from Google billions of sentences and put it inside the computer in order to be as clever as possible in understanding human language. Natural language processing, which is, by the way, the main field of Kurzweil today, because all the big digital giants know that those who will decipher first the best possible way to understand human language, they will win. Because today when I ask Google a question, I get 1 billion answers or 1 million answers, because the computer really doesn't understand the subtlety of my question. I do not expect algorithm translation of languages to go far beyond some basic service to translators, from which they will have to use their own values and experience and richness of understanding. So I think that computers will be limited, algorithms will be limited in really understanding the full depth of human language, because it is so complex, like our emotions and our facial expressions.
Yeah. Thank you, Noam, Monica, our listeners. I'm sure we could go on, but we have a few closing activities that we'd like to do at the end of the day. You're going to have a minute or two to get your ingredients ready to make your cocktail together. And then we'll have a few closing ideas that we want to share and a Mentimeter. And then we're going to have a toast to such a wonderful day. So stay with us, get ready. And hopefully you'll participate to the very, very end, just a little bit more. And we're very, very excited that everybody is still here.
And I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you.
Hello, I hope you have a great conference. My name is Tzu, and I will show you how to make a cool white sangria for the summer, something to refresh you up. So we need only a few things, something every house almost has. All you need to buy is an off-dry wine, in my case a off-dry Riesling from Rheingau, Germany. You put by the eye a third of a cup of wine, and then you add 4 or 5 ice cubes, just to keep the drink fresh and cold. And then we add our complements. We start with an orange for the citrusness, and then we add some mint leaves. When you add mint leaves, you need to open them up, like this. And then you use a little piece of ginger and some amarena cherries with their syrup inside, and a splash of soda water. Give it a little stir, and now you have your first white sangria. Just note it, you can do everything you like, every taste, try to do different stuff each time. So for the next one, I'm putting again a third of a cup of wine, adding some 4 or 5 ice cubes, and then I'm adding some almond extract. While that, so I add some sweetness and bitterness at the same time. And then I add my complements. First of all, a lychee, to put it a little bit of a fruity side. And then I'm adding a lime for the citrus, a ginger for the kick, a bit of lime juice, and a splash of soda water. Give it a little stir, and then you have your other taste of white margarita. You can do what you want, but the most important thing is to have fun. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone. Now we already appreciate all of the wonderful comments and thank yous, but we want to try this Mentimeter, which will kind of make a cloud of a few thoughts from today. Also to find out where you guys are from. So you can either scan the QR code or you can click the link. Just kind of one final activity to give you a chance to give us a little bit of feedback, and then we're going to have a toast. Can you put the link in the chat? Somebody's asking. Wow, thank you all. Now that you've all shared your thoughts on the Mentimeter, we appreciate it. I just want to say, without all of you, this day could not have happened. I know these are difficult and strange times, and I'm honored to have the opportunity to host you today, and that you chose to spend the day with us and the academic writing community here in Israel. We learned and shared so much. We heard about academic communication, gathering and writing, robot writing, blurring the border between scientific and popular writing, multimodality, digital videos, digital literature, non-academic writing benefiting academic writing, narrative writing, equipping students with soft skills, and English for various disciplines like economics and fashion. It's been a great day. We had fun touring Israel, stretching with yoga on a chair, chatting during lunch, and we are about to have a drink to celebrate a successful day. I simply want to say thank you. Just before we have a toast to the organizers, the steering committee, the keynote speakers. So you'll indulge me just for 60 seconds. Thank you to my right-hand men and women, Danielle, Harriet, and Monica. Without you, I don't know what I would have done, or I don't know what we would have done. Thank you to the other ifaw steering committee members who helped tremendously. Aviva, Dana, Irit, Judith, Karen, Lior, Miriam, Orit, Raya, Roweda, Sari, and Tal. The Mofet Institute people, workshop and conferences division, the top four, again, most important, works day and night, Ariel, Shana, Neta, Lior, the technical support and Mofet chairs, Barak, Chagit, Yaniv, Asaf, Jay, the technical division staff, Miri, Wafa, Manal, Miki, Revital, and my right-hand man all day in the main room, technical support, Ilan, research and development, Yoav, Yuda, Nimrod, Doreen, Sharon, Doris, technical people, Ido, Manny, registration, Orly, Ilanit, people in HR, marketing, graphics, anybody else that I forgot, and I hope I didn't, our keynote speakers. Thank you all, the listeners from all over the world. And now let's toast to a wonderful day and lots of health.
Great.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
לחיים. אני לא רואה את אילה.
Thank you all. Hope to see you next time in person. Wish everybody lots of health. Be in touch.
Thank you.
Woo! Thank you.
Take care of the love.
Thank you very much. See you another time.
Hi, Meredith. Be well.
Yes, you too. Slointon.
To all my Georgian colleagues.
Yes,
Good health.
I second that.
Next year in Israel.
Please, God.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
It was very nice. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Great time.
Oh my goodness. So lovely to see everybody.
Hi, Bracha.
Wow.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Hi.
Thank you.
Party class.
Thank you.
Isn't this fun?
Right. It's not.
Rhonda.
Hi, Ray.
Rhonda,
We should thank Rudy. We should thank Dorit for her excellent organization. Rudy.
Hi, what happened? What happened?
Someone drank too much too quick.
Let's make a toast to the asset team that presented amazing.
Yeah, for asset team. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Raya, hi.
Hi.
Hi, how are
Rhonda, what do you have?
Wow, good to see you, Bella.
What do you have here?
You look great.
What am I drinking?
Let's make a toast to Trudy and Bella, the founders of the ifaw.
Hi. One of the founders.
Hey, Tina, how are you? It's not as good as your wine, but it'll have to do until I get to Georgia.
Yes.
Okay?
Hi, cheers.
Cheers, cheers.
Rhonda, you have to find more reasons to talk like in Georgia.
That's how it started.
We gotta do a dry run.
A dry run.
Yeah. And that in itself is a lot of work.
Because you know what? It was glitches here and there.
Well, the glitches, the lack of
Oh, they must have.
Tina, how's your family?
If they accepted those abstracts.
That's the thing. You don't know when.
I was in charge of it.
And I okayed everything. I said, because I don't know if it's a bad abstract or a bad. Well, I'll tell you why.
I didn't okay everything.
Because
I had a whole
sometimes there's people
chart
don't know how to make them.
of conditions that had to be fulfilled.
But they don't know how to write an abstract. I mean,
well,
it's not
too. Some of them we wrote back and asked, could you please add X? Could you please add Y? We did that. We were very, very active.
And some people write the abstract before they finish, you know that.
Vodka.
Research.
Yeah.
Well, you can do it. It could be